holds true, and they take it with them in the form of confidence in the first quarter today defensively. And maybe we don't give up a big shot play, a little play action pass. Maybe we don't give up a 80-yard bomb to start the game. That'd be nice. Let's just do that. Let's see if we can get away with that.
No shot plays? Is that the key to the game? We can just wrap it up and go from here? No shot plays today?
Make them earn it. I mean, make Syracuse put together a 12 to 15 play drive. I mean, we can do it. It's possible. So now I hope, obviously, that for Florida State, we see a carryover, because that was a hope. We talk about the want to get wins and the need to get wins and all that stuff, and yeah, we're all. Do we have the Bjorn Warner sound clip still? Did we ever carry that over?
The Von Stryker? Let me go.
I'm hungry to get a win, or whatever it is.
We are hungry to get the win.
Yeah, that one. Because we are, and that's true. But that was also fun last week. Not the loss. The loss is a toughie. But the violence and the technique and the belief that they played in with for the on defense for the really remainder of the game, by about 2.5 quarters in, that was unbelievable. And that's just fun to watch, to see them fly to the ball and to rally around one another. Yeah, man, that'll carry you a ways right there. That'll carry you away. So first things first, do we get that? Do we see that? Do we see that confidence carry over from one game to the next? That's first quarter, first thing I'm looking at.
Well, that's the thing to me is this fan base, I really believe, through humility, has matured. After the Notre Dame game, even though it was a loss, everybody that week was walking with pep in their step, because they thought, here is the sign of development and improvement, which there was a zero tolerance for moral victories just 2 or 3 seasons ago.
Correct.
And yet that faith was rewarded with a loss to Jacksonville State. And that's where people were broken. And I feel, again, this week, people are looking for signs, perhaps searching very hard for signs, to see, is there anything I can hang my hat on? And the second half of Louisville could be that sign. Yeah. And there are a lot of Nole fans who are not just blind optimists, but people in the middle who are saying, okay, more of that, please. Let's hope that their faith this time is rewarded with a win, because we can't keep giving these morsels of hope and then just blowing it at the next opportunity. That has to be the next step taken. And I will tell you what, if you get the win today and you play inspired for closer to 60 minutes on defense, then a lot of people next week in general will just be nicer to their neighbors in Tallahassee and wherever they live. We had Christopher, who came yesterday. He brought us a bunch of beer from San Diego.
Yes,
he'll go back to California and be nicer to people that he works with. I have a feeling
he's just pretty damn nice.
He is already.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
But you know how it works. A win just changes how Monday looks, how the sky, it looks more blue. So please, Noles, can you reward our maturity?
Our own Austin Cox on Warchant.com wrote a piece about the improved run defense, and I would suggest you guys read it, just because we've talked a lot about it, but you can look at the numbers. Notre Dame has 65 yards rushing. That's a cool 1.9 yards per carry. And I don't know what's going on with my voice today. Jacksonville State had 108 yards. That's 2.8 yards per carry. Even Wake Forest had a lot of rushing yards, but they had the ball so often. They had to run it 58 times just to get 3.9 yards per carry. And then, obviously, Louisville, just 3.2 yards per carry, held them to 130 yards. I think it's a legit reason to be excited about this game, because the game does play to Florida State's strength.
Yeah, it does. And that's where Sean Tucker, who is second in FBS in rushing yards this season, 500 and change, second in FBS in scrimmage yards this season, I think it's 730, something like that. That's the guy that they're going to hang their hat on. And if you look at their run-pass splits this season, Syracuse is 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio for run. If they want to stick to that today, yeah, you're right. It plays right into our hands, as long as we come and we play inspired football. They run outside zone, they run inside zone. The one thing I'd say about our defense and their offense, and you can flip it the other way, there are a lot of similarities between what these two offenses like to do
in practice every day,
formationally, and then also, yes, with the eye candy and all that kind of stuff. Yes, they should be very familiar with what they're seeing today on both sides. That's why I think, among other reasons, just bad offense between these two teams. That sorry, I didn't see the cough button.
I'm trying.
There's problems going on.
Yeah, I got issues today, guys.
But that's where, in camp, when you went good on good, you saw a lot of what you're going to see again today. So the familiarity, I think, impacts the total, because the weather's going to be perfect out there, but you see that game total is in the low 50s.
Yeah.
This is why, because these are good matchups for both these defenses.
Yeah, and I think for Florida State, on the other side of the ball, people are calling for the run. They want to see a lot of rushing attempts today. I think you will, but I don't know how successful that's going to be. I think Syracuse's defensive line is decent. Our offensive line is not. And I think that could be problematic, again, because they're looking in a mirror.
Yeah, the one thing that I noticed in watching 120 minutes of Syracuse football this week, and that was very difficult, but that's okay. The army of chickens to my left here, they asked me to do it, and so therefore, how can I turn these guys down? They're just so cute. Nobody really worked the middle of the field against Syracuse defense. I don't know if that's because they just throw bodies between the seams or if it's just they faced a bunch of bad offenses. But the one thing that I would advise against, if we're trying to run the football today, don't try that outside zone stretch stuff without at least pulling, pinning and pulling and trying to get bodies towards the problem, because the way they line up and attack the line of scrimmage is in layers. And we're not very good at blocking even when somebody is straight up lining across from us. If you've got layers, good luck passing off and doing all those things that are necessary. I think if we're going to have success in the running game, it's got to be between the tackles with the inside zone scheme and between the tackles with, power and counter.
Well, let's find out which offensive linemen are going to be out there, first of all. Maybe none of it's possible. And
That's correct.
I don't mean to be dour, but I would just tell you that, we have to find out whether or not you have your starting five, because you haven't yet. It's unbelievable. And I know I'm beating a dead horse here because time and again we bring this up, but it really does matter. It affects what you can and cannot do. And that's why it matters. It's a big deal. You are not going to be able to run consistently if, yet again, we don't have Maurice Smith out there, and yet again, Robert Scott looks at 50%. You're at a huge disadvantage. I will be curious, and I know the people in the chat know this. I've probably said all I need to say about Jordan Wilson, but
right, yeah, he's had a rough season.
He's
had a rough season.
What are we doing here?
No, we thought in preseason, and looking at obviously having him back in the fold, he missed all of last year, that he could be the weapon in that sixth offensive lineman, and also
I don't know why we thought that. Because you look at him and you do think that he's a huge dude, but he could not have been this epic blocker at UCLA because he can't block at all now. Yeah. So, what was going on then?
Well, I don't know.
But we all thought it because we were told that he's a great blocker.
Yes, we were told incorrect information is what we were told.
Oh, my God.
And the problem
nothing could be further from the truth.
Right, he's not a security blanket. He's a liability. And that's where when we talked about the Jacksonville State game, it was Monday or Tuesday that week on the Jeff Cameron Show, weekdays 1 to 3 p.m. right here on Warchant TV, also locally 93.3 FM in Tallahassee. That's
well done.
Real Talk Radio.
There it is.
Good. Boom. Reviewing the Jacksonville State game. Oh, no. Wait a minute. If you've got those kinds of problems blocking Jacksonville State, then what's it going to look like as we get into ACC play? I hope it's just a bad night, and it's looking like it wasn't just a bad night. You might want to turn to some of the younger guys who can maybe execute a cut block. I don't know, but it ain't working right now. And when you have a less than 100%, there you go. That's the teaser. Mm-hmm. Less than 50% Robert Scott lining up next to number 4. I don't know what that does for you, except commit 2 bodies to it. You might as well spread them out wide at that point.
Well, and a microcosm of the problem for him, and I don't. I'm not there to see how many times they rep the trick play, but I'm very certain it does not call for Robert Scott not to touch the crashing end.
Well, that's also Wilson's problem.
Jordan Wilson.
Yeah,
I said Robert Scott. Yeah. Jordan Wilson doesn't lay a hand on his man.
You probably get the first down in that situation.
Oh, you easily get the first down there because that's the guy that hits him. He's in his thigh before he takes a step because my man is over here pretending to look at the clouds. No, there's no way that design is for that to happen. So
that's right. But when you're detail deficient and you call trick plays, you're just asking for problems because we're not buttoned up. That's the thing where when you get back to the coaching staff and the criticisms, you're allowed to overachieve. Somebody said that in the chat yesterday, and I was like, it's true. Other teams do. I understand we have talent deficiencies, but you're allowed to coach past that. That's a thing that does happen in other places. And that's where I think when people criticize the coaching staff, I understand that. And I think that's fair too.
I think
yes, we are talent deficient, but when you're playing Jack State and Louisville and we got Syracuse today, these are games you could win if you're buttoned up detail wise.
Yeah. Yes. There's a part of me that agrees with you wholeheartedly. There's another part of me that says people like to, when we're losing games, our fan base, all fan bases, like to just casually suggest that we run this play or that play as a remedy to our problems. And I'm only suggesting that it's not that easy. It's not like they haven't figured out, we're on the touchdown play. Sure. The thing is, man, if you can't block, it all starts there. And you really can't do much else, including coach beyond it, because you can't block. So I push back a little on that sometimes because I hear it all the time. Well, they should do this. They should run more screens. They should look, I'm sure they've thought of it. They can't block.
But I would also say, on the other side of the fence, you're allowed to have continuity in the game plan instead of going haphazardly. And they did last week. Mm-hmm. That is the thing that I'm clinging to, because how many yards did we put up in the game? It's over 400, right?
Yeah.
All right. You got to be a hell of a lot better in situations. We know this. I'm going to try and keep it positive for a moment.
Well, but the situations in the red zone are not going to get better. They're just not.
Not even against a team like Syracuse.
Because you can't block.
If there's continuity in the game plan and you've got the RPO game to mix along with your inside, I mean, listen, you can go back and forth. That's why Trayshawn Ward scored in the red zone, I do believe, in the red zone, untouched, because you set it up earlier in the game.
Right. No, they schemed it up beautifully. It is rare to have.
It was also blocked up.
It's also rare to have a one on none, which is there was nobody accounted. They misaligned.
I know, but they did block it up to allow him to bounce outside.
He didn't even have to bounce.
It's possible. It's possible.
They fell for the eye candy. That's actually really good coaching. It's crazy.
Right. Well, but that was different. You look at the Wake Forest game plan and you say, I have no idea.
No, that was really...
Was Doc Ellis on the sidelines?
That was awful. The Wake game plan was awful. And the 6 turnovers.
He had a hit of acid, and he's like, all right, let's call this play. What? We didn't rep that, coach.
I wish Doc would have been on the sidelines. He threw a perfect game.
On acid.
On acid. Today's top story brought to you by Barano Heating and Air Conditioning, a longtime trusted partner of the Jeff Cameron Show. Turn to the experts at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning for all your cooling and heating needs this fall. Head to BaranoAC.com or call 850-580-4029. There's the voice. All right. There we go.
Well, you just needed that coffee to cut through whatever gravel was in there.
It was crazy. A lot of gravel. I don't know. I was staying up watching football last night, watching Iowa just crush Maryland. Good God.
Yeah. I was watching your Utah State.
What was the final of that game?
14 was the final margin of victory for BYU.
That's a toughie.
That was a toughie.
That's all right. It happens. The luster is off of Utah State. I'm going to have to leave them alone for now. This happens every week, guys. I'm wearing red. This is bright red, in fact, but these lights make it look orange. Stop it. Every week.
It is. You should take a photo just to show you how red. I mean, it's American red. That's from the Ryder Cup. I brought it from Kohler last weekend.
It's a Ryder Cup shirt. It's red. It is not orange.
I still can't get over that Sergio chipped in when I was doing the interview with you. I was like, are you kidding me?
That made me laugh, by the way. You sounded so distraught.
Yeah, because that was advantage us on that green.
Yeah.
We needed everything we could get to, because Berger on the back 9 last week in team play was so bad. I mean, Shanks to the left, Shanks to the right, couldn't make a 6-footer. So I knew that was a big situation, and then there goes Sergio doing what he does. It's okay, though. 119-9, no big deal.
Yeah, it was a boat racing. It was never really in contention.
I just wanted as much positive pub for the program and Trey's program as possible, right?
Well, we got it because you had 2 Noles on a Ryder Cup winning team by almost a record margin.
Taking home 4 points. Yeah,
so that'll work. That top story that I allude to there is, again, okay. Did you learn? Does the confidence carry over? Norvell talked about a good week of practice. I'm not really sure that's true. That's all I'm saying. I don't know that.
Well, even the way he commented on, I think it was Wednesday's practice, he said, we had to get back up to our energy levels a little bit. There was a moment where I thought, ooh, okay, all right.
Well, listen, they've had bad weeks of practice and then, played well before. They've had great weeks of practice and played terribly. It's not overrated. What is valuable and what's more important than whether or not the energy level is where it needs to be and all that stuff is whether or not the guys you're counting on to help win you the football game play and practice. It's about the bodies, the availability.
Boy, these are heavy hints you're throwing at us right now.
I'm just saying, a lot of what Florida State's dealing with right now is, yes, repeatedly on a loop, not a talented roster, but not a talented roster that's banged up. It really is crazy how, the misfortune, and nobody's coming to save us. I'll quote Trev Alberts with Nebraska stuff. Nobody's coming to save the Noles. We got to do it ourselves, okay? But damn it, man. I don't know what we did. People can, venture a guess or something, but they are snake bit. It's crazy. The guys that would help you get a win are the very guys that are frequently missing practice due to injury. I don't know what you do with that. I mean, that's because we've seen that there are backups on this team that cannot play.
It gives me flashbacks to Ray Ramirez of the Mets, and I'm just, staring at the wall because there was no franchise who found a way to have players hurt more than that particular franchise for about 15 years.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's never at a position where you're like, we can absorb that.
Yeah, we got 15 corners.
No, that's the critical. That's the critical position.
The guy that we can't lose is out this week.
You know what it is? It's the forever sin of 2013 that we only had 5 reasonably good offensive linemen. Austin Barron was okay as a backup, but we found out in 2014, not that great. And you lost Brian Stork to a concussion for like a week.
A week.
And that was it. So because we got by with literally nobody beyond those starters in 2013, we have to suffer through 8 to 9 years of injuries to the offensive line core. That is not good to begin with.
Well, and both your quarterbacks are hurt. And it's not just that. You have an offensive line, which isn't great, but then very thin. Then they get hurt significantly. You lose. I would argue you lost the 2 most talented offensive linemen to injury. I mean, that's a damn it, man.
Yeah. Well,
it's not Bavion getting hurt.
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not wishing anybody hurt, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, we lose guys you can't lose.
Can I tell you something that'll put a smile on your face, though?
Sure.
Because here is another reason that when I was watching Syracuse offense, I'm like, it's a mirror image of ours. Not so great. Snapping issues. They have issues snapping the football.
All right.
So it's going to be contagious today. It's going to be like watching 2 teams that shoot 57% from the line. And you're like, oh my God, what a clank fest every time there's a foul. You should just hack everybody every single time down the court. They have snapping issues like we do. So be alert for a live football, because that's the other thing that hasn't gone our way this year.
No.
The fumble luck.
Yeah.
I mean, the 2 situations against Louisville where the ball is on the deck.
Yep.
Think about the Jack Cohn play against Notre Dame. We had the fumble luck against Wake Forest. We get the football. Jay Sean, he's a reliable football player.
Reliable football
it's
player.
On the deck 2 plays later. Mm-hmm. So that has not gone our way this year. Maybe today with Syracuse snapping issues, something might.
That fumble by Corbin was the first kind of moment of the year, believe it or not, where it kind of took the life out of me, took the breath out of me. I really did kind of curse the football gods in the moment. I know you're going to say Jacksonville State. Nope. No, I calmly handled that. I wasn't happy about it, but I mean, relatively calmly handled it, and then got up and went to bed. That fumble, because he's probably the most reliable player on the team.
Yeah.
I went, okay, all right. I see how this is. I got you. I mean, there's no specific thing to yell at, but I did. I was kind of like, you sons of bitches. Okay.
So the randomness of football is going to pick this moment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course.
This moment.
Yeah, I said it. Christy didn't know what I was
doing. When our
doing.
fragile psyche is finally starting to believe a little bit because we get an early break. Because I think that was PI that wasn't called on Sydney on that play where we get the pick. I'm like, well, all right.
Yeah.
How about that? A break goes our way.
Yeah, it really, the randomness of that and that kid who I love and everything that happened in that moment, and you got the break that you needed and you're going to have the ball. And I really believe if you score first, who knows how that game goes, all the stuff that's in there, right? And then, okay. I see. That's the way this has to be.
Going to be that kind of day.
Tallahassee GameDay continues in a moment.
Imagine a salad made with only the freshest vegetables, with grilled or hand-breaded chicken, and topped with Southwest Ranch dressing. Big enough to fill you up without weighing you down. Made to order, when you order, in that order. Try our new Southwest salad with fire-roasted corn, tomatoes, and crispy tortilla strips. Just one of our made-to-order salads, only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
It's pool season, and the huge pool at Killorn Country Club is ready for you. Pool memberships are just $5.99 for the season through September, and come with poolside service and unlimited access to the 19th hole. Live the Country Club life without the Country Club price. And don't miss the weekly themed Thursday night dinners featuring exquisitely prepared meals paired with the best wines. Stay up to date with all the events and club deals at KillarnCC.com. That's KillarnCC.com.
Stay cool this summer by planning ahead now. Call E&B Heating and Air and ask for the AC tune-up special for just $99. $99 now can save you hundreds later. Call 575-9119. That's 575-9119 for E&B Heating and Air.
Choose Hearth and Patio for custom fireplaces, maintenance, outdoor grills, kitchens, fire pits, lighting, and so much more. Check out all of Hearth and Patio's options online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
Tallahassee's 30-year-old funny paper and American Legion Post 13 have joined forces to become Major Morale. The new magazine has 4 more pages of post activities and military information that you probably never knew. But don't worry, it's still as politically correct and newsworthy as always. Okay, it's the same funny stuff, but it's still only available at the sponsors' locations like Keith Lawson Services, Tallahassee Automobile Museum, ABC Flooring, or Krispy Kreme Donuts. The country's best donut place has great different monthly specialty donuts like Ghirardelli, Oreo, Chips Ahoy, and too many more to mention. Sign up online at KrispyKreme.com for exclusive email discounts or download the app that lets you pile up rewards every time you order ahead. Krispy Kreme, America's favorite donut.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
You went online to switch your car insurance to Progressive so you could save money, but then you saw a friend request from an old summer camp buddy. And now here you are, clicking through photos of his kickball team from 2011. Oh, looks like they won the championship that year. Then he moved to Tulsa. Oh, a new tattoo. Yes, they said it was easy to save hundreds on car insurance with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National average savings by new customer surveyed who saved in 2019.
Lane's Medical Shop is proud to announce the opening of their newest location at 800 North Wiley Avenue in Donaldsonville. Lane's Medical Shop, Southwest Georgia's oldest running durable medical equipment provider, specializing in home medical equipment. They accept and file most insurances, including Medicare and United Healthcare and many more. Lane's Medical Shop, locations now in Colquitt and Donaldsonville. Stop by and see owner Blake Womble and staff or call 758-9111 in Colquitt or 524-1292 in Donaldsonville.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Yeah, can you see the Zaxby's chicken there? The little guy on the table? I don't think you can see him.
No, he just defected over there. We got to change the mojo. There he is. One of my army has defected to the Cameron side.
Well, because you wanted to change the mojo.
That's right.
So Travis Hunter got hurt last night, and the only way.
Hey, man,
no,
what?
Hold on, he's all right. So the reason
he is,
yeah, I think he's all right from what I'm hearing. But the reason that I bring it up is because I woke up this morning and I was jumping in the shower and getting ready to come in, and my phone had all these notices on it, and I was like, what the hell? Who was trying to reach me all through the night? And it was just all Florida State people. It's just, no, Travis Hunter, no. Like, because he tweeted out a picture of himself, I guess, in an ambulance.
Yeah.
But apparently they're saying maybe high ankle sprain now. The young man doesn't have to play any more football right now. We know he can play.
You and Eric are in agreement. He says, shut it down.
Shut it down. Call it a day, Travis. Call it a day, baby.
You prove it enough.
I know you're a warrior and you want to be there for your guys. They understand. You're going to have to call it. Let's slow our roll here.
That photo looked like an air cast, right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah. Well, high ankle sprains are problematic, and they can really linger. That can take a very long time to get through. So he may very well have to shut it
long enough to hold him out of spring camp next year?
No, not that kind
okay.
Not that kind of long. I did have a guy yesterday come out to the corner pocket while we were doing the happy hour show, and we were talking, and he cracked me up. He was basically very embittered, and I'm understanding of that, and he was saying, why would I keep hearing about this recruiting class, Jeff? And I know that that's what we're hanging our hopes on, but why would anybody come here? And I was like, well, it's still Florida State. They're having a bad year, but it's still Florida State. He's like, I don't think these kids were coming. And I go, well, I understand you're a little, little beat up right
putting
now.
up the walls,
Yeah,
doesn't want to
yeah,
get
yeah,
disappointed.
doesn't wanna get hurt.
Miami swoops, or not Miami. What am I talking about?
Sweep it anywhere.
Alabama swoops in December.
Yeah, well, and so he's like, he cracked me up. I said, no, I think there's a couple of guys that just grew up Florida State fans. Like, for example, Travis Hunter can name every All-American corner and every great player we've ever had on defense. Like, he just does it. So he just loves the Noles. And sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you got a kid, either he's a legacy or that's just been his favorite team forever and he wants to go there. And he's like, I don't think they're coming. I don't think any of those kids are coming. I wanted to give him a hug. He just kept saying it out loud. Why would you? Why would you come here?
But we can flash forward to this. We've never done anything in the way of sponsorship, or probably partially because, we didn't work for Warchant at the time. That's the fun part now of working with Warchant. But also because there was also always a coaching change. That signing period in December has never applied to us since it changed. It's never, like, it's been, we get 8 dudes. Great. All right. Maybe 1 or 2 might pan out. But this year, if Hunter sticks, you could have another 10 to 12 guys that follow at minimum and have at least a handful of them be game changers.
Keep talking, Tom Lang. Let's go.
The December signing day might actually be a holiday for Nole fans for the first time in its history.
Well, you got to cash it, with all recruiting classes and new coaching hires. Generally speaking, you really do cash in with the new car smell those first 2 years. And Norvell hasn't had the opportunity to do that. This is this last good chance to do that because next year's too late. So you got to get this group and get them to say yes and follow through. I suspect you'll lose a couple. We already know that. But the biggest ones, you've got 4 or 5 guys that I think are paramount to your future success and your overall class success. Travis Hunter, obviously, being one of them. And if he sticks, no matter if we're 2-10 or whatever we are, then you've got a chance to put something together here and raise the floor. And I give examples every now and again. I know people will say, well, it's one football player, and football is the ultimate team game. Why do we care so much about one guy? Oh, one guy can change the complexion of an entire unit. I mean, it happens all the time.
Well, I hope that unit to be the signing class. I hope it changes the complexion. That's why, for me, it's the contagiousness of making something cool again. And that one player can make the program cool to other recruits.
Correct.
That's where, to me, because, I don't know that Travis Hunter, the safety, is going to fundamentally change this defense. He'll be a nice player on it. Like, see Derwin James' final season here, where Charles Kelly had him playing center field.
We don't need to talk about that.
Right. So he wasn't a big part of your week in, week out experience as a fan. You're like, oh yeah, he was on the team, instead of that dude was making plays left and right. Oh my God, he's all over the field. So I'm leery on that part of it.
Well, hold on.
Hunter could make a huge impact as a receiver if we decide to play him both ways.
Hunter's Charles Woodson, man. I mean, he's that player. And if you remember him winning the Heisman.
Right. Yeah, I understand, but you also get my point that, like, you could even have an all-pro NFL guy and he could be anonymous. He could be rendered anonymous if you don't know where to put him and how to play him.
Yeah.
And then also, if you don't get any pressure on the quarterback, hopefully that we get that fixed and we have another year where we find a Jermaine Johnson again who can rush the passer. That's going to be necessary to the equation. But to me, I'm just looking for the coolness factor. That's why programs do uniform stuff. That's why they build slides and water parks and arcade rooms for the coolness factor. Travis Hunter makes Florida State cool in a way it hasn't been in 4 and 5 years. That's why he's got to stick to me, because then other kids will gravitate.
Also, I would tell you that you got a quarterback in this class that comes and can change the complexion of that room. You've got a linebacker. Oh my God, imagine that.
Right.
You've got a defensive
end. Needs
end.
to bring 2 or 3 friends, but
yes. That's another conversation for another day. I've been 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers back to our linebackers coach for some time now here.
I really like him.
Well,
too. I understand. Everybody says that about Fuller too.
I like Adam a lot.
Yeah. I had a chance to talk with Marv for 20 minutes over 2 meetings, and he's a solid dude. I just hope maybe our fortunes change in the recruiting world, because then he'll be around.
Yeah, I hope it does too. I've gotten pretty sad about that. I don't like one thing. Well, especially early in their tenure, I think it can be.
There's no clay to work with. That's the other thing. Like you come in here and you're like, be better. And he's like, with what?
Yeah, but then that's where I'm going to need you to
Right. Yes.
be recruiting.
Mhm.
And we're not seeing that either, Tom. So that's
Maybe you could report it on your taxes as a charity donation. I don't know. Write it off.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to go eat some Zaxby's chicken fingers while we take a break here. That's what I'm going to do because they're delicious and I can smell them in the other room. More Tallahassee Game Day in a moment.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your real-time.
Son,
it's enough. This has gone on way too long. If we're going to win this thing, we've got to go big.
Introducing Zaxby's new signature sandwich with a double hand-breaded filet, split top bun, and Zax sauce, or new spicy Zax sauce. Only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
Not the sound you want to hear the first morning of school. Nope, that kind of throws everyone's schedule in a heap. So, before it happens to you, take your car to Auto Alley. Summer driving is hard on cars. The heat wreaks havoc with batteries and doesn't help other parts too. Your car's cooling system is taxed. In short, summer is brutal. And sometimes it's just too much. And your car says, that's it, just when you find it the least convenient. So, Auto Alley it is, where highly trained technicians will give your car a complete once-over and let you know if there are any problems ahead. Drive out with the confidence that the hottest part of the summer and the frantic schedule of school and fall events won't be derailed by your car taking a time out. For something as simple as changing the oil to rebuilding an entire motor, Auto Alley, Tharp Street Extension, just west of Capitol Circle Northwest. Call them 576-9835. Your car has a friend down the alley. Auto Alley.
Did you know metal roofs' survivability far exceeds that of traditional shingle roofs? It's time to consider a metal roof from Metal Roofing Sales of Tallahassee. We provide the best quality, least expensive material and accessories in the area, as well as material pickup and delivery. Our painted panels qualify for the City of Tallahassee's low-interest Energy Star loan program also. And don't forget about our veteran law enforcement discount. Give Metal Roofing Sales a call today at 536-9123, 536-9123.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
New Zealand, they're still in the lockdowns and stuff. 2 men were arrested for illegally smuggling 3 buckets of KFC chicken, 10 cups of coleslaw, fries, and 4 other bags of KFC items. The vehicle was searched and police located cash alongside empty ounce bags and a large amount of takeaway bags.
They're selling coleslaw in dime bags?
Boy, I'll take a dime bag, mate.
Ride the Colonel's Dragon.
Be absolutely fantastic with me, Will. Well, thanks.
11 herbs and spices, baby.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
This season, Zaxby's of Tallahassee is upgrading Nole fans and putting them in the best seats in the house. This week, Zaxby's is a proud sponsor and proud to honor the big brothers and big sisters of the Big Bend with 2 seats at the 50-yard line. Big brothers and big sisters of the Big Bend helps children realize their potential and build their future, I should say. If you thought about helping children in our area who could use a mentor and a friend, head to bigbendmentoring.org. Our thanks to Zaxby's for supporting our local community. That's really cool. That's really good.
There will be other organizations that they will honor for the rest of the season as well. So good job, Zaxby's.
Yeah, good job indeed. Well, today, if you got those 50-yard line seats, you may be, for the first time this year, watching a team that walks off that field with a victory. Let's hope. We don't want to discuss another loss, of course, but for more reasons than one, it's important they find a way to get this win. I think on the heels of the speech, I think it would be important to go out and get a win.
Yeah. Well, you better play inspired in the first half at the very minimum, right? Can't give up 28 points by the time you're halfway through the second quarter.
Yeah, that'd be problematic. It's interesting. This is an offense, by the way, for Florida State, because we think that the defense is going to carry over, but we'll see. But this is an offense, and we're getting to the offensive keys, by the way, to the game. They're brought to you by the Hobbit American Grill, celebrating over 40 years of serving good times to good people for great memories. Get your game day going 2020 West Pensacola Street. For more locations, head to myhobbitonline.com. Listen, the bottom line is for Florida State, if you look at big plays, they're fourth nationally with 4 plays of at least 60 yards or more this season. It's really kind of the only way they score. I mean, it really is. They do not sustain drives. They do not go up and down the field and then punch it in the red zone.
Yeah.
That's not who they are. When they score on big plays.
And honestly, it looks more sustainable on the ground than it does in the air. I know two of those plays are shots by Jordan Travis. One a bust by Wake Forest, the other the Ja'Kai Douglas touchdown against Notre Dame in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
But still, like if you're looking for plays, ooh, that's almost to the gate, straight to the limo, as Ira would say.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly in the ground game where there's one extra tackle made, and that's not a good sign. The other thing I'd say in watching Syracuse defensively, a lot of the plays that Liberty made, I know I have to stretch. Syracuse schedule this season so far, folks, it's
awful.
It's terrible. But Liberty might be the best offense that they've seen. In fact, they probably are. There were some low percentage throws and catches made down the field. Like I was actually pretty impressed at how Syracuse kept most things in front of them. So I think if you're going to have explosives today, it is between the tackles with the running game where you make a man miss, but everybody blocks it up for a second. And then the other is on the perimeter. Your receivers really have to bring it and block on the perimeter. I don't think it's going to be a shot down the field 25 yards or more in the air. I think it's going to have to be a little gain that turns into a big gain that turns into, oh my God, we're going to score.
Yeah, that's what they've been so far this year. I know you're talking about the 2 plays, but I mean, Jordan Travis was responsible for those throws.
Correct.
McKenzie Milton doesn't have the arm to do that necessarily.
No.
We haven't seen it.
He could get into a rhythm with, obviously we saw the 2-minute drill in the first half last week, where it looks like the outer limit is maybe 18 to 25 yards, but you really have to get into a rhythm offensively where you're speeding up the defense in order to give yourself that opportunity. You can't really do that in even down and distance leverage and even tempo.
Tempo is where it's at for them. For Florida State, it's everything explosive comes off of the tempo where you catch guys on their heels. So, they're going to want to run tempo when we're talking about offensive keys, but Tom, they can only run that if they don't lose first down. And they've lost a lot of first downs. That's really one of the things, I don't like to talk about other teams because this is a Florida State centric show. It's Tallahassee Game Day, obviously. But one of the reasons you watch Ole Miss's offense succeed, they're first in the country on first down. They have the most efficient offense on first down of any team in the country. It's something like they're averaging, it's preposterous. They're averaging like 7 yards on first down. Well, yeah, man. 2nd and 3, the entire playbook is open to you.
Right. And mentally, the defense is feeling pressure.
Yeah.
They're feeling pressure, and so they're going to rat trap on their own.
So, yeah, I would sure love to see something. God forbid we got 7 yards on first down, but, just try not to lose 3 yards.
Yeah. And Austin, we thank you for your contribution to the program this morning. He said something to the effect of, when will we see a true running game that we can actually play off of with play action? I don't know that you've got that in the repertoire right now, but you've got RPO. You can RPO. I don't know about a true play action offense built on and predicated on 4 and 5 yard chunks consistently on the ground. I don't think you're going to see that.
No, you don't have a drop back passing game either.
Correct, but there was RPO. There were those elements last week, and there was, again, I'll use the term a lot, probably on the postgame show as well, but continuity in the game plan. That's what I'm looking for today because that's where RPO can really bite another team, the opponent, in the butt. If their linebackers and their secondary they have their eyes in the wrong place and they're cheating because you run the same part of the RPO 3 times, then that 4th time, boom, you pop it outside for a quick throw, or maybe that's when you run the ball.
If you look
makes all the difference.
If you look at the end around to start the game last week, that failed miserably because Robert Scott got blown up inside of 1 second.
With Pokey. Yeah.
All right, so you run that play and it's immediately 2nd and 13. I wasn't mad at it because the rest of, and this is where we talk about cohesiveness of game plan. The rest of the day, they ran things off that play.
Correct.
So they're trying to set something up. And I know that on the surface, you go, why would we run that on the first play of the game? It's slow developing. It's to the wide side of the field. It's asking a lot of quite a few people. Well, there was a good reason for it, though. And it ended up helping this team immensely.
Yeah.
for the rest of the
It's
day.
the Trayshawn touchdown. It's the same
Yeah.
look. You're trying to influence the tide of the defense. Which way is it going to pull, left or right? And there was a play. The problem with the earlier games is either by the scores we gave up or the panic that maybe we felt a little bit on the sidelines. You never saw that. There wasn't like set up and then you come back to it. And you're like, oh,
Yeah,
I see.
right,
All right,
yeah.
there you're setting up the counter punch. Like there was a play against Wake Forest. I broke it down this week on Warchant, the third and Lang feature that goes out. It was a Trayshawn Ward run that ended up going for 22 yards against Wake, and then they got the 15-yard face mask on it. There's a nice RPO element to it. It's a bunch formation at the line of scrimmage, and you have a little bubble that is built out of the RPO. Man, you've already put half of that on film.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Louisville example tells me that if you see something like that early on, they're going to use both elements of it. And that's when you get linebackers in conflict. We see it all the time with us. Our opponents do it all the time to us.
Our opponents isolate
time
our
to turn that
linebackers
around.
in coverage, but yeah.
But yeah, you got to make them make decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be interesting to see. I do think they found something last week. Again, nothing that Florida State has offensively is dynamic. They really don't have. I mean, listen, I like Trayshawn Ward a lot, but he is a lot of his explosiveness and his big play ability, along with Jason Corbin. A lot of that is mitigated by that line. So you know it's really contingent on something else that's vital, unfortunately. Whereas in some cases, like if you've got a drop back pass game and you have a dynamic receiver, you're all right. You don't need a whole lot else in that situation. He's going to beat his guy, you know, or he's going to get over the top of them and stack pretty quickly, right? I mean, so our two studs on offense are guys that really get hurt by that group up front. So it's frustrating. I guess what I'm getting at is people, when you ask the questions about, well, why can't we just do this? Or why don't we just, and this is not condescending. I'm saying I too want us to just firmly establish the run game. But for example, there are elements of the run game that we can't run, like power. We really can't run it, you know? And so that's why you're going to have to see all of that outside, inside zone stuff.
It's a rough matchup for that as well today. Because the other offensive key to the game is the communication along the offensive line. And I cringe as I say it, because if you don't have your horses, then that's going to be a problem no matter what. But the way that Syracuse lines up and attacks an offensive line is with multiple looks, twists, and stunts, 3 down linemen, and then you might have 2 linebackers and a safety along one way, one play, and then they line up the other way. Who's coming, who's going, passing off, all these extra elements of playing intelligently as an offensive line, we're going to be put to the test. Because we could even have it right if we don't have our horses and it's communicated right, but we're not quick. Syracuse does. That's where I'm worried about our offense today. If we don't have our offensive linemen, then you're going to have to keep it simple with running between the tackles, and maybe it's almost more like a man scheme than a zone scheme, because it's Syracuse presents problems that way that I don't know that we're equipped to handle. But that's why everybody thinks that the race might be to 24, 27 points at most today, unless there's turnover luck.
Yeah, I mentioned I had 27-24, already made that prediction this week. And then I started thinking, I think we'll hold Syracuse below 24, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible. The thing to look for today, and we can get to the defensive later, but does DeVito come off the sidelines for Syracuse?
Probably pretty early on.
If things don't go well. But yeah, Garrett Schrader is not your prototypical drop-back passer by any means. If you look at the over-under in this game for his passing total, Vegas has it at 111 and a half yards.
Yeah, I take the under on that, by the way. And that's against our secondary.
Yeah, well,
which, I mean,
it's about making the shot play happen. If it does, then he'll go over.
Pre-game, post-game, no game at all. Anytime is the right time for Zaxby's Platters. Feed your team of 12 to 14 with your choice of traditional or buffalo fingers or boneless or traditional wings. If you're having trouble deciding, get the best of both worlds with the sampler platter. And don't forget the world-famous sauce. Satisfy your chicken craving today with Zaxby's Platters. Order online or through the app. Tallahassee Zaxby's, a proud Seminole booster for over 15 years. More Tallahassee Game Day in a moment.
Imagine a salad made with only the freshest vegetables, with grilled or hand-breaded chicken, and topped with Southwest Ranch dressing. Big enough to fill you up without weighing you down. Made to order, when you order, in that order. Try our new Southwest salad with fire-roasted corn, tomatoes, and crispy tortilla strips. Just one of our made-to-order salads. Only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
Turn these things into anything you can think of, like a workout room, a recording studio, a yoga studio, or a mini repair shop if you're a car enthusiast. And think about this. If you've been paying for a storage unit and you're throwing away that rent money, get a portable building that actually adds value to your life rather than being an expense. Go by and see Southeast Portable Buildings today on West Tennessee Street, just west of Capitol Circle. And tell Mike you want to order now and wait so you can get the discount rate.
Make this summer spectacular at home. The City of Tallahassee Utilities offers a variety of grants, loans, and rebates to help with energy-efficient upgrades. Adding ambiance outdoors with a natural gas grill? Check talgov.com/u for current rebate offerings. Concerned about cooling your home this summer? The city's ceiling insulation and energy retrofit grants might be able to help. Visit talgov.com/YOU or call the City of Tallahassee Utilities at 850-891-4968 to learn more.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows
know that.
Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
Stay cool this summer by planning ahead now. Call E&B Heating and Air and ask for the AC tune-up special for just $99. $99 now can save you hundreds later. Call 575-9119. That's 575-9119 for E&B Heating and Air.
Hey, it's Greg Tish, and I want to tell you about our new segment, Real Law. If you have questions about a legal problem in your life, ask a real lawyer. Tune in every Wednesday at 8 a.m. for Real Law with Chris Dunn, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
Our friends at Triangle Sales bring you an opportunity to enjoy a one-of-a-kind experience presented by Bud Light. It's the Bud Light Sideline Experience Contest. If you're a Noles in Tallahassee, text Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. That's Bud Light Fan to 31996. If you're the lucky winner, you score 2 sideline passes, hospitality passes, and fan gear for the FSU and Miami game on November 13th. That's Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. Must be 21 or older to enter. Please enjoy Bud Light responsibly. A message from local Anheuser-Busch distributor, Triangle Sales.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Time for today's sub of the game, or which of the game, served up by Which Superior Sandwiches. Did you know, Tallahassee, that on Wednesdays, the Wicked is just $5? That's right, 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5. Visit any of which 3 Tallahassee locations for a superior sandwich today. I love me some which. Sub of the game? I don't know, man. We've exhausted this some. I guess in theory it's Trayshawn Ward because, again, he's not listed as your starting running back.
Right,
right. He's that kind of dynamic, and I'll pick him every week for this segment.
Be interesting to see, how much those two might be on the field together. Saw a little bit of that last week, and it might not be the worst thing in the world to have a defense with having to key on 2 separate players at one time saying, ooh, what if this guy has the ball? Ooh, what if that guy has the ball? Remember those days when we had 5 dudes, 5 skill players where a defense had to honor and say, ooh, we've got a hierarchy of this thing. The triage is very simple for the other side these days. For me, and we'll again talk about him more with the defensive keys, but the sub of the game is potentially DeVito, the second quarterback for Syracuse. He could pose problems. Now, Garrett Schrader, if they're able to run zone read with he and Sean Tucker, he's not going to come out of the game. It'll just be Garrett Schrader's show. He started last week against Liberty. And then
dude.
Dino Baber said on Monday that he's the starter, period. Okay, that's fine. But if things look terrible early on, the sub of the game and the story of the game could be flipped on its head because of the difference between these 2 quarterbacks. DeVito can throw the ball.
Yeah, and let's not make him out to be Joe Montana. It's just that he's actually a more capable passer.
Correct.
He's not a good quarterback.
Right, but again, when you look at our defense and our deficiencies, anybody who's a capable passer could turn into,
it's just funny
what Danny DeVito is to acting Tommy DeVito could be to, quarterback play for one Saturday against our defense.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, everything is truly relative. I mean, it's unbelievable. All this, we're really worried about that kid. Okay. That's like me with the fumble.
Well, you know why?
Against Wake.
It's because we're so worried about our offense getting to a point total. And you're like, what could be the fly in the ointment here? Oh, no. The Q's is going to get to 28 because this kid comes in.
30?
Right.
Yeah, I know.
That's where the fear comes from.
You know, it is weird, by the way, and I continue to look at these numbers, and I looked at the pregame notes that FSU sends out just almost humorously because I thought, what are they going to write? We're 0-4. Now, you know, Chuck does such a good job with basketball, and he's got a lot of ammo these days.
Right.
But for years, when Chuck would do the basketball ones back when we were terrible, and that's a long time ago now. But there was a time where we were awful, and I would do the positive basketball note of the day, and it was just totally a tongue-in-cheek thing. And Chuck would send me these positive notes. He would dig through the archives and find something that was positive. And they would be bizarre, off-the-wall, obscure things. So I tune in, I pull up the notes today because we're 0-4 and we lost to an FCS school. So I thought, what are the notes going to say? But there are really impressive numbers for them to be able to cite. You know, for example, just last week, Florida State held Louisville's defense to no points and 79 yards total, and 1 for 8 on third down after the half on offense. That's crazy. I mean, that's not just good. That's dominant good.
Right. And then you put up 400 yards of offense yourself, and you're like, well, what gives?
Yeah, the last time, first of all, FSU hasn't shut out an opponent in the second half of an ACC game since 2015.
That feels about right.
Yeah, it was against NC State.
Yeah, it's good defense that year.
Yeah, so that's it. I mean, it's been a while.
Against anybody in the ACC.
That's nuts.
Anybody.
That's right. And so they did it. Also, and this just drives you nuts because you say, see, it's in there. FSU is allowing 2.52 yards per rush after halftime this year.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yes.
Because, you know, if you're trailing, you would think that it's going to be a lot of ground and pound, right? And we're saying, no, you've got to earn it with a throw. Now they do, but we force them to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They've done a lot of really good things on defense, and it's just the big plays that they give up that really cost them.
It's funny you say it's been 2015 since we shut out a team in the ACC in the second half.
Yeah.
That tells me, I mean, already in this game, the way college football is played, it's so scarce to shut a team out, period. You know, the spike baseballs used to be a thing around here, and they used to be pretty frequent. Would the spike need to be 24 karat gold moving forward because of how rare? I mean, even in the game of football now, in college football, a shutout is.
This is going to blow you away. So I ran into Chip last weekend, and we had a long conversation. I know he brought up the spike baseball, and we were talking, and I was like, oh, buddy, one of these days. And he goes, it's in my office. I'm ready. He's like, I've been waiting very long.
It might have to be solid platinum then. What is it? It's got to be like a precious metal.
Yeah.
Like what they're peddling here on the station. Buy the real thing. It's got to be that stuff.
Yeah. It was funny just to run into him, and he brought it up, and I was like, oh, well, you won't be having to drive a spike through a baseball anytime soon, sir. And he's like, I know, I'm sad. He goes, but the tools are there. It's still in my office.
Duquesne. Just keep chanting it. Make it real.
Yeah. Speaking into being. Introduce it to the ether. Here we go. We're going to shut out Duquesne next year. We should. I mean, they don't even have really.
We're going to puff our chest and go out to Bourbon Street, and here we go.
Yeah, we are.
Yee.
Hour number 2, Tallahassee GameDay. That's good. That's a hidden gem for those that don't remember it. Coming up next. Stay tuned.
Attention! It's enough. This has gone on way too long. If we're going to win this thing, we've got to go big.
Introducing Zaxby's new signature sandwich with a double hand-breaded filet, split top bun, and Zax sauce, our new spicy Zax sauce. Only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. Disagreements among Democrats have delayed President Biden's huge spending plan. There's now talk of a scaled-down version of the $3.5 trillion package. Congressional leaders say they need more time. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the intensity in the talks should come as no surprise.
We're clearly at the late stages of the process here. This is exactly the moment where people put their bottom lines down, they put their best ideas forward, and there's heavy negotiating. And that's exactly what's happening.
All of this comes with declining job approval numbers for the president. California is moving toward requiring coronavirus vaccinations for school children, a move sure to anger some parents skeptical about vaccines.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is imposing the nation's first coronavirus vaccine mandate for school children. The governor held a news conference at a San Francisco middle school. Audio courtesy KGO.
Once the FDA approves the vaccination in different cohorts, starting with 12 and above, grades 7 to 12, we will begin to apply that requirement in the next term.
Students can seek religious and medical exemptions. Those whose parents refuse to have them vaccinated will have to take independent study courses at home. The California Medical Association supports the mandate, pointing out that vaccines against several deadly diseases are already required before students can enroll. I'm Jennifer King.
This parent in Oakland does not support the school children vaccination mandate.
I just think it's a parent's decision, period. The government in no shape or form should be having mandates like that.
In Houston, the principal of a public charter school was shot and wounded by a former student who quickly surrendered to police. Authorities say the principal was grazed by the bullet. No students were hurt. More at townhall.com.
Find yourself turning on the news and feeling hopeless? Open borders, spending gone crazy, more mandates, lockdowns, inflation. There is something you can do. Buy from companies that believe what you believe. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. They offer broad nationwide coverage using the same towers as all the major carriers. Patriot has plans to fit any budget, and their 100% U.S.-based team provides exceptional customer support. More importantly, Patriot Mobile shares your values and supports organizations fighting for religious freedom, your conservative rights, sanctity of life, and our veterans and first responder heroes. Go to patriotmobile.com/Gorka or call 972-PATRIOT. Get free activation with the offer code GORKA. Always special discounts for veterans and first responders and for multi-line accounts. Support a company that loves America and shares your values. PatriotMobile.com/Gorka. That's PatriotMobile.com/Gorka or call 972-PATRIOT.
Where is the best place to find Michelin, Firestone, Dunlop, Goodyear, and Bridgestone tires? Nice Tire and Auto Service. Where's the best full-service auto center? Nice Tire and Auto Service. They do everything from computerized alignments to brakes, tune-ups, and safety inspections. Where can you get complete auto service you can trust? That's easy. Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
When it comes to salads, the fresher, the better. That's why at Zaxby's, we don't make your salad until you order it. Try our brand new Southwest salad with fire-roasted corn, juicy tomatoes, crispy Santa Fe tortilla strips, and our new Southwest ranch dressing. It's big enough to fill you up without weighing you down. The new Southwest salad. Get it fresh, get it customized, get it made to order. For a limited time, only at your neighborhood Zaxby's.
The following is a live production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network and Real Talk 93.3. Fire up your grills. It's time for Tallahassee Game Day on Warchant TV and Real Talk 93.3.
That pass is intercepted to the delight of all Seminole fans. The pick six.
Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang bring you the latest news, updates, and analysis around the FSU program ahead of today's kickoff on Bobby Bowden Field.
2nd and 3, patient and explosive, and a touchdown for the Noles.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Zaxby's, indescribably good. Now live from Florida's capital city, here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, Tallahassee Game Day. Thanks for joining us on Warchant TV and 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Our thanks to Zaxby's, of course, always. By the way, today's sideline report brought to you by Bud Light. Tallahassee Noles, take note. This one's for you, announcing the Bud Light Sideline Experience Contest. If you're a Nole in Tallahassee, text Bud Light fan, Bud Light fan, to 31996. That's Bud Light fan, all one word, to 31996. If you're the lucky winner, You scored 2 sideline passes, hospitality passes, and fan gear for the FSU-Miami game on November the 13th. Must be 21 years of age or older in order to enter.
That's a winnable game.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what happens today or from here on. No, they're in trouble. They're in trouble, Mike.
I think Manny's going to be told to have a good day. It does seem that way.
He had that look about him even before they lost the game on Friday night or Thursday night, excuse me.
Well, he listen, we're not going to focus on them. We've got our own problems to deal with. But I would say that when they beat App State by the skin of their teeth at home and barely pulled that off, he was downright emotional. And I thought, ooh, times have gotten tough there. I mean, you squeak out a win against App State at home and you're emotional.
Oh, we're like 2 people on either ends of perhaps a bar on a Tuesday. It's 1:00 in the afternoon. And they're looking at each other thinking, they got problems over there.
Yeah.
The truth is you both have problems. It's 1:00 on a Tuesday.
Unless you're on vacation.
Right. Oh, it should be a work day. There is no vacation.
Oh, my goodness.
You've been there for 3 hours already.
Yeah.
You know?
The guy that opens the bar was putting the key in the door and you were standing there. Yeah, he was opening. You're like,
at least I'm not Tucker over there.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're kind of the same.
You and Tucker are the same guy.
People have come in for lunch and they're like, oh my. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I see you working.
Hey, tough times. That's us right now. Hey, a lot of Seminole fans woke up today and it's game day.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
If we did not have this show, listen, if it wasn't on terrestrial radio, which we're grateful for here at our home at 93.3.
Yeah.
Oh, I think, we were just meeting up on the interwebs. There might be a strong beverage.
Oh, buddy. I just saw on Twitter, guy wrote in to us talking about this is a must win. And he didn't want to see any questionable coaches' calls or anything like that. Well, first of all, there's not a game that goes by, even with the really good teams of the world. Nick Saban's Alabama teams. There's not a single game in which there isn't a questionable call. I mean, coaches make mistakes. They're fallible. They're human beings. It happens. The game is played by human beings as well. Sometimes things aren't executed and makes the coach look bad. And there are a lot of things that in any one game that you can go, well, I don't know about that. But I'm not so demanding. I want what you want, which is a carryover from a week ago in which that sort of aggressive and the confidence and belief in what they're doing defensively. I want that to carry over because that is sustainable. Then all of a sudden you have something. You have something legitimate that you can hang your hat on. And I think they're close. I think they're close on that side of the ball. Now, the linebackers are just not going to be good. It's not going to happen. But everything else can operate efficiently. The run fits were right last week. The aggressiveness, the triggering downhill, the leverage, everything you're asked to do to play good defensive football was on display for 2.5 quarters. Okay.
How about 3.5?
Give me a full 3.
Not even 4.
Yeah.
Just something more.
Well, the problem is, though, Tom, if you have a disastrous other quarter, whichever one it is, you can lose the game. They lost the first quarter last week overwhelmingly and never regained a foothold. They could never win the game because of all that they gave up on the first 5 drives of the game. As it turned out, that's all they gave up, period, for the rest of the game. Just those 5 drives. They were the first 5. I mean,
and it was 30.
Yes.
It wasn't 18.
Right. That's a lot.
24.
That's a lot of points. It's very efficient.
A lot of points.
Yeah, it's a lot of points. So, you gotta meet me in the middle here, guys. I mean, I get it. This isn't the, this isn't the 93 defense. This isn't the 99 defense. I mean, you're going to have some problems, but you can be sound.
Let me put a little spin on the sideline report, because if we have a punt returner who's within 35 yards of the line of scrimmage, he needs to be reported to somebody on the sidelines who can then tell him to back up before the ball is snapped. Let's make sure.
That was just weird.
That is a massive, massive play. And I heard the funny thing was I heard about it before I saw it. It's one of those things when you're out of town, you're not watching every single play. And I heard you guys lament it. And then I watched the game, the flow of it, how it happened. That first half is just ghastly. And in that moment, those 30 yards we lost are unbelievably massive. What they did to field position, the leverage of everything you could call. Even if you wanted to get gadgety offensively,
right,
you're kind of pinned back. Louisville ends up having the ball again with decent field position. Don't do anything with it, but they take a valuable 3 or 4 minutes off the clock. I mean, think about that. If you had an extra 4 or 5 minutes, maybe a possession, maybe 2 if you're lucky, more than we had in that football game.
Yeah.
There's a real good chance we win it. That's where those little plays, man, when you're this bad, you got to be detail sound. And you said it this week on the show. You can tell us which show in a moment, but we rep the hell out of special teams, and it doesn't look like it.
No, that is my number one complaint it's the Jeff Cameron Show, weekdays 1 to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday, right here on 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV. I have not been as harsh. I don't know if that's true. I haven't been as vocal about some of the coaching problems. Like when we're losing games, there's a lot of blame to go around, and there's a lot of elements of this team that if you hyper focus on, you could really nitpick and say this is bad, and not all of those things are the direct result of delinquents from the coaching staff. It's not that. Some of it's ability, some of it's injury, some of it's a lot of different things. But then there are things that are squarely on the shoulders of the coaches. And I don't understand how you rep special teams as much as we rep special teams and then not be good in special teams, especially since it's a calling card, as brought up by the head coach.
The first credo he delivered was
now they're
teams.
not dreadful on special teams, but
it's not helping.
Yeah, right. It's not a
you
plus.
Need things
it's not
to
an
help.
Asset, Tom. It's not an asset.
Right. You need things to help.
Now, it's not coaching that Fitzgerald can't make a kick. That's not on Mike. Mike can't make Fitzgerald make kicks. I mean, that kid, at some point, that kid has to make a damn kick. But it's the stuff like you're talking about where you misplay a ball because you're 35 yards from the line of scrimmage. Like, why are you there?
Well, and it makes you sick when you're an opponent of a team that's good in special teams. And that's all you hear from the broadcasters. Like with the Bears and Devin Hester back in the day, or Cordero Patterson, they're like, well, this guy's a threat to take it to the house. And you're like, good. I mean, that's all they've got. Well, I'd like to be the team that where the opponent goes, man, will they shut up about the special teams? I get it. They're good there.
Mm-hmm.
We need outside elements. We need outside elements
in
order to advance our cause.
Yeah.
Sean McGuire needs our help. Mike Norvell needs our help in every little facet that we can get better, not giving up 35 yards for no good reason.
Well, it was crazy because it ends up being, obviously, whatever that was, a 72-yard punt, I think it was, after the roll.
Right.
72.
Right.
I mean, Jesus.
And you look at the way momentum felt in that game. I'm a believer in momentum. I know that analytics heads will tell you it doesn't exist. For college kids, confident. I mean, look at confidence. Look at the difference between a confident team and tell me that momentum doesn't exist.
Yeah, they'll argue that confidence is a real thing and momentum is not. That's fine. We get into sort of semantics with that. I mean,
philosophy 2000 level class. Here you go.
I do think, first of all, we all know confidence exists. We've all felt it in our own lives, whether it's giving a speech at a convention or whatever it might be. If you're prepared.
Situations affect confidence. And I would say that's the definition of momentum is circumstances that stack up together affect your confidence level. That is momentum because it's perceived. If it's perceived, it's real.
Yeah, it's this confidence is people are probably get tired of me talking about it, but I jumped off your couch this past Saturday, as I said before, when
pretty comfy too.
When I saw it. It's a nice couch.
Yeah.
Me and the cats were just chilling. But I jumped off your couch and I was like, okay, all right, there it is. I've seen it because it was back-to-back short yardage plays. And you know the series I'm talking about.
Right. Yep.
And you'd have thought I was involved in the tackle. I was ready to chest bump. I mean, that was a big moment.
They're 3 and 4 second developing plays because it's like check, make the play, and then it happens. Yeah.
Run fit, yes. Leverage, yes.
Bouncing it,
trigger,
stringing
yes.
it out. Yeah.
Hit that son of a yes.
Yep.
There it is. And the hit was nasty. It was like, oh no.
Well, Brownlee can do that.
He will
go
run
downhill.
He will run up and hit you.
Right. The uphill thing. Yeah.
He hit that kid so hard, I thought they were going to throw a flag. Because they love to throw flags. Just anytime somebody gets hit hard. That I was like, oh, you're going to throw the flag now? You feel bad for him? You're going to cry for him? You're going to throw that flag? They didn't. I was shocked. I was patronizing them. I was very because I was ready for it. They do it all the time. Tallahassee GameDay continues in a moment.
Chris Kraft, you want luxury that speaks to you? If you want a car that exudes
Imagine a salad made with only the freshest vegetables, with grilled or hand-breaded chicken, and topped with Southwest Ranch dressing. Big enough to fill you up without weighing you down. Made to order, when you order, in that order. Try our new Southwest salad with fire-roasted corn, tomatoes, and crispy tortilla strips. Just one of our made-to-order salads. Only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
Our health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Hey, you, can't you read the sign? It says, keep off the grass. Oh, but I just wanted to feel it. Excuse me? I wanted to feel what it was like to have an amazing lawn like you do. It always looks so good, even in the summertime. How do you do it, neighbor? They're called Lawn Johns. They come once a week. Maybe you should give them a call so you can tell other people to stay off your lawn. How's that sound? Ooh, yes. I would love to tell people to stay off my lawn. For the very best in lawn care, call the Lawn Johns at 850-322-2567. Stay off my lawn.
Maximizing your Social Security benefits isn't something they want you to know how to do. Many people are unaware of unused benefits that are owed to them. Hi, this is Craig Collins from Collins Income Tax Solutions. And if you're wondering whether or not your Social Security is going to be there for you, I can help. Contact me today to schedule a free consultation to learn how we can help maximize your Social Security benefits. You can find me online at collinsincometaxsolutionsllc.com. That's collinsincometaxsolutionsllc.com.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
You went online to switch your car insurance to Progressive so you could save money, but then you saw a friend request from an old summer camp buddy. And now here you are, clicking through photos of his kickball team from 2011. Oh, looks like they won the championship that year. Then he moved to Tulsa. Oh, a new tattoo. Yes, they said it was easy to save hundreds on car insurance with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National average savings by new customer surveyed who saved in 2019.
Lane's Medical Shop is proud to announce the opening of their newest location at 800 North Wiley Avenue in Donaldsonville. Lane's Medical Shop, Southwest Georgia's oldest running durable medical equipment provider, specializing in home medical equipment. They accept and file most insurances, including Medicare and United Healthcare and many more. Lane's Medical Shop, locations now in Conquet and Donaldsonville. Stop by and see owner Blake Womble and staff or call 758-9111 in Conquet or 524-1292 in Donaldsonville.
I'll never forget
that moment.
As long as I live.
As long as I live.
My first call-up ever as a member of the National Guard.
When we got to the armory, they briefed us on the wildfires. They were getting dangerously close to homes.
Helicopters were going out to drop water on the fires. Guys in the unit were preparing for firefighting with local fire crews.
At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Tallahassee Game Day rolling on. We'll get to who's hot, who's cold in a moment. But I do want to say that you asked me yesterday, and I told you how I would check in with those emotions today. Still feel really good. The gut is intact, buddy.
Despite myriad deficiencies, you feel okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Well, that got a little weaker. You went to, I think so.
Listen,
now.
I'm never going to be emboldened to a place where I announce emphatically that Florida State's going to win, big or anything like that. I mean, right now. I mean, this year, this team, this version.
But you are still advising me to find a local grocery mart to get a bottle of Andre for $3.99, just in case.
Dry as a bone.
That's right.
Bone dry.
Bone dry. Bone dry champagne.
Bone dry.
For the long ride home.
Yeah. Yeah. So I am. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get I'll get some bone dry champagne on my way home today, and and be ready to celebrate the big win this afternoon over Syracuse. Yeah, I am advising you.
So I guess you'll be on the email chain for the invite link to the post-game show because you'll toast us.
I'll toast you.
All right.
Make sure you send me on that email chain.
All right.
Bone dry.
Don't start too early.
No. That's I'll be locked in watching details.
Even if it's a rocking chair game, sir, don't do it.
No, I mean those. You can get loose on the post game now. It's all right. I mean,
well, that's right.
Yeah.
As long as you have a driver, right? You know,
I'm not driving anywhere. Yeah,
you're not driving, so
I'm
you
not
can do
driving,
whatever the hell you want.
Who's Hot, Who's Cold is brought to you by Barano Heating and Air Conditioning, a longtime friend and partner of the Jeff Cameron Show. Turn to the experts at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning for all your heating and cooling needs. No matter what time of year it is, Barano will always be there for you. Head to baranoac.com or call 580. That can't be right.
That's correct. Yeah, we dropped the 850 for the local folks. They know it's 850.
Oh, okay. 580-4029 today. 580-4029 today. There you go. I'm looking forward to being able to turn on, and we're a ways away from this happening. The heat.
Yeah, didn't you get a taste of something last weekend? Wasn't it cool outside?
It was very cool when you were up in Kohler.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
We sent some weather down.
You did. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, we bagged it up.
Well, it's true. It's true. It was the best week in a long, long time in Tallahassee while you were in Kohler.
I know. I wanted to be able to brag more about it. And I'm like, it's nice down there.
Nice
I can't send the weather screenshot.
Yeah, you send the shot, and I'm like, it's 2 degrees cooler there than it is here, pal.
Right.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. Even my brother in New Hampshire was shocked. He was like, really? I was like, yeah, it was 50s this morning. I was like, what are we doing? This is good stuff.
Oh, it's invigorating, man.
Yeah, no,
we'll see it in 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be a ways away. Who's hot? Who's cold? Jayshon Corbin's hot. There's no doubt, man. That guy is putting up numbers. In fact, this is an easy who's hot, who's cold. Jermaine Johnson on the other side of the ball, Tom, is hot as well. And then as far as cold, that FSU passing game is shaky.
Yeah, I'd say Robert Scott's health. That's cold. And hopefully it gets a little bit warmer today because there's some blow-bys akin to the 2018-2019 Noles offensive line. They're putting 52 at right tackle to kind of mitigate the problems, but it doesn't do much. So hopefully he is much more healthy this week. Somebody else who is not too far behind, in fact, a half a sack behind Jermaine Johnson, who leads the country in sacks with 6 so far this season, is Cody Roscoe from Syracuse. So you've got a battle of two guys who are within a half 0.5 sacks of each other. We'll see who comes out with the nation lead after this game.
I'll also note this for Florida State's defense, and this is, again, if you can kind of clean up these details and not give up the big play, you're really sound up front. You're really solid. FSU is 5th in the ACC, 30th nationally at 7.2 tackles for loss per game. A lot of tackles for loss for Florida State this year. They do a good job of getting penetration, resetting the line of scrimmage, tackling in the backfield. I've been very impressed with that group up front. And it is really just that front four because the linebackers aren't great. And we've said that it's a broken record. And then obviously we know what the back end has been. So, it's that group up front that's been really good.
We'll try and find some different keys for the defense for the defensive keys of the game segment. But yeah, Sean Tucker is also somebody who is white hot because he is leading number 2 in the nation on FBS in rushing yards and then yards from scrimmage. And that's the game today. That's it right there. It's your front four being able to dictate terms against Syracuse offensive line, and you hold Sean Tucker under a key number or a key yards per attempt, put it that way, because they're going to give him the ball. If Liberty is any indication, that was a close game throughout.
Yeah, they're going to give him the ball.
He had 34 totes.
Yeah.
So that is what you're looking at here is that number 4.5 yards a carry, 5 yards a carry, or is it akin to what we've seen a lot of this season, which is 2.5 and 3 yards a carry? Big difference.
So to note here, and I know you know this because you watched the way too much Syracuse football in preparation for the piece you were doing. But they love to run, and this has been a new wrinkle when they made the shift at quarterback. They'll run 5 or 6 times a game that speed option.
Yes.
And if he keeps, because you're not sound and come up and put a hat on him, he's a big kid running the ball, getting into that second level.
Yeah, they do inside zone, outside zone, speed option, the triple option with the jet action from the receiver, all that kind of stuff.
Every team does the jet stuff now. Yeah, we do.
Yeah. That's why. Yeah, I think these two offenses are mirror images, except for the fact that Syracuse has a bruiser who can run at quarterback. That's the principal difference. We can throw it better, but again, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other because it's not great against the curve of college football itself.
I mentioned Corbin being hot while we're doing hot and cold. Jayshon Corbin has tied FSU's single season record of having 2 75-plus yard runs in the same year. I mean, obviously he and Dalvin doing some things.
Right.
That's anytime you're in that category, that's pretty remarkable. And his average yards per rush, we know, is also up there because of those big chunk plays.
And it should be noted, too, it's not like we're scheming up wide open runs where he doesn't have to do anything himself.
No, the jump cut, then he makes guys miss in a very small window. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, his home run last week, it was well schemed, and it was actually well blocked.
Yes, it was.
That was a rare occasion, but it was inside zone. They put him in a position where he has to make one guy miss, and then you're helped up by Louisville's linebacker play, which was terrible in that game, especially in the second half. And it's a 2-for-1. He makes two guys miss with one move because the linebacker's looking the wrong half of the field, and he's gone. Same thing with the home run against Notre Dame. You've got to make a safety miss in the hole. Here's your chance. It's either going to be a gain of 8 or it's going to be a house call. And it was a house call because he can make guys miss. So it's not like he doesn't have the ability to make somebody miss. And then we also know that this year we've learned the breakaway speed is real for Jayshon Corbin.
He's back to being
not a practice
player.
Myth.
Yeah. He's back to being the explosive player that went to Texas A&M and then had that injury, obviously. And so
there are times you hear stuff about kids in the practice reports and the player only workouts, and you're like, okay, well, I can't wait to see that. And it never pans out. In fact, it's never close to reality. We heard about Jayshon Corbin's speed. I'm like, okay,
we'll see.
Maybe to get a 30-yard run,
right?
Not home runs like he's capable of. So if you're a Syracuse fan today, then that's one thing you're worried about.
He's strong too, man. That's a really strong guy. He's tough to get on the ground. So yeah, I get excited about that. As far as one other side note here, we'll see. And this doesn't really fall in the category of who's hot, who's cold, but it is something of interest today. And I think for most Florida State fans, it is. I just wonder with McKenzie Milton, I was talking about the passing game being cold, and we were talking, if he continues to show that physically he's held back because of that foot and he can't do certain things. We all saw him just fall for no reason last week twice. And he doesn't get a lot of his throws because of it either. How soon do you go to Chubba Purdy?
Well, I think that depends on the health of Jordan Travis first. And so are you stuck in what is like swampland, right? And you're just up to your knees in it and you can't lift your legs up in the air. Are you stuck between this forever going back and forth between those two quarterbacks, or do you cut bait at some point? Because Purdy did make the 2-deep this week. That is something noteworthy if you only pay attention on Saturdays and you don't tune into Warchant's great coverage and our great broadcast throughout the week. What are you doing? You should be. But Chubba Purdy was listed second on the depth chart. Now, Jordan Travis did return to practice this week, so it could render that moot. And we learned our lesson earlier in the season against Wake Forest. Jordan was not a co-starter, and yet he got more time in the first half than McKenzie. So it might not make sense by the end of the day. But if you've got real problems with both of those guys through 4 drives, it might not be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I would. In fairness, I did not see practice this week, so I don't know how much he repped. And I know he was getting more and more time with the 2s than he had at any other point. And I know that means we're getting closer. So I think, and it's not a salve, it's not a cure-all, but it would be nice to have a functioning, able-bodied quarterback.
Yeah, that's correct. The able-bodied part of it, the functional part of it. Yeah, you might be able to run some basic things with relative consistency. The one thing I'd say from watching camp, going back to the days where, Chubba did get a lot more time, and that was, kind of a friction issue during camp about how we reported those things. But he can make a throw or two, and you go, oh, that's it. That's the guy. And if it's his first throw or two, you're going to say, the Savior's here. We're good. And then he'll make another throw or two, and you go, oh, he's god awful. Just if he comes in the game, temper your expectations to be, it's going to be inconsistent. But he can still make some plays, whereas if we're looking in the second quarter and nobody's making plays, he's probably the better option at that point.
It's weird. They're in a conundrum because you got winnable games here, and this is a winnable game. And starting him, for example, is not really a viable option right now. He doesn't seem like he's ready to start a game. He's not good enough. He hasn't been good enough anyhow.
Oh, you'd be getting a lot more work with the ones in practice all week,
correct?
Right? I mean, you have to.
So it's not really an option. And then also, if you lose this game, it's almost as if you would say you have to start him the rest of the way.
Yeah, got to know what you have.
Yeah, figure it out. Can he play or not?
Yeah.
It'd be tough uphill climb for him because he'd be going in with this group.
Right. And on the road at North Carolina.
Yeah,
but they didn't show up anyway. Mac Brown had to challenge the fans. And how can you challenge fans after getting beat by Georgia Tech by 25?
That was Who's Hot, Who's Cold, brought to you by Barano Heating and Air Conditioning. They have been a very long-time supporter of the Jeff Cameron Show, also Tallahassee Game Day, and all the stuff that we do, so we appreciate them very much. If you have heating or cooling needs, make sure you call baranoac.com or go to baranoac.com or call 580-4029. More Tallahassee Game Day in a moment.
Attention! It's enough. This has gone on way too long. If we're going to win this thing, we've got to go big.
Introducing Zaxby's new signature sandwich with a double hand-breaded filet, split top bun, and Zax sauce, or new spicy Zax sauce. Only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
Right now, 74.
This is not the sound you want to hear the first morning of school. Nope, that kind of throws everyone's schedule in a heap. So, before it happens to you, take your car to Auto Alley. Summer driving is hard on cars. The heat wreaks havoc with batteries and doesn't help other parts too. Your car's cooling system is taxed. In short, summer is brutal. And sometimes it's just too much. And your car says, that's it, just when you find it the least convenient. So, Auto Alley it is, where highly trained technicians will give your car a complete once-over and let you know if there are any problems ahead. Drive out with the confidence that the hottest part of the summer and the frantic schedule of school and fall events won't be derailed by your car taking a time out. For something as simple as changing the oil to rebuilding an entire motor, Auto Alley, Tharp Street Extension, just west of Capitol Circle Northwest. Call them 576-9835. Your car has a friend down the alley. Auto Alley.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping
Air today. Florida license CAC 1816186.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
Greg Tish, Real Talk 93.3.
Hey everybody, this is Greg Tish. Thank you so much for listening to Real Talk 93.3. Don't forget you can check out me and Maddie Rowe every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the Greg Tish Show. Wake up with a smile with the Greg Tish Show. How's that sound, Maddie Rowe? Is that a good promo for you?
That's good enough for me.
Is that good? Are we at 30 seconds yet?
Right about now.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Today's defensive keys to the game are brought to you by Zaxby's. No matter the result on the field, you're always a winner when you stop at Tallahassee area Zaxby's for the best chicken fingers, signature salad, or chicken sandwich today. Support those who support local businesses and FSU. That's been Zaxby's way of doing business for over 15 years. Defensive keys to the game, man. This is a talking point from going back to the Monday show right after the Louisville loss. You know, being fundamentally sound and technique sound for the better part of that game, the second half certainly, is what breathed life into my talking points for the week, because even in defeat, it feels an awful lot like maybe they latched on to something and garnered confidence. Today will be a big test of that, because if they're disciplined, you'll see a lot of sacrifice being made here for others to make the tackle. The run fits and that kind of stuff, which were on display against Louisville, will have to be on display here. This is a Syracuse team that is dedicated to running the ball primarily. It's what they do best. So you're going to get somebody who's dedicated to it, wants to do it, and does it pretty well. And so you have to be disciplined. You'll have to focus on your keys and then come up and trigger and play with some violence. And they did it a week ago. So it's in there. It's in them to do. I would think this is a game that is perfect for this defense to lock in on stopping the run and putting Syracuse behind the chains the way teams have been able to put us behind the chains on first down. Our unbelievably low percentage of third and fourth down conversions are really the direct result of failing miserably on first down. And that is what we have to do today. to Syracuse. Get them at 2nd and 13. Get them at 3rd and 7 or 8, because I actually think this could be a game where the secondary gets right. You could have a pick 6 today. You could have a couple of interceptions today. Syracuse doesn't throw it that well.
Yeah, that's an alert point because Schrader will do the double pump thing. Remember when Sean McGuire first came in to play quarterback at FSU?
And we were like, no.
And that happened during the Clemson game. It was like pump, and then he'd still throw it to the same place.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, there are going to be opportunities if you want to cheat on a throw that you're going to be able to do so, especially if you can affect the quarterback. But I will ask you this question because it leads to an overriding point. If the defense does something akin to what it did last week again this week, that is to say they give up, 24 points or 21 points in the first half, they look completely miserable for the first 4 drives, but then they recover and they play well again for 2.5 quarters. Is that acceptable?
No, unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. The only way you get excited about this group is if there is real carryover from what was gained last week into the start of this game. If not, it's a mirage. It doesn't matter. It was born out of desperation. It was born out of perhaps Louisville not having the same mentality, whatever you want to say, but it won't be believable, and that'll be the last time that I'm ever fooled by this group under Adam Fuller.
Okay, so then that leads to the overriding point, which is it's now or never. It's now or never. This is it.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to play other games, but yes.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, sure.
The conversation surrounding Adam Fuller today, it's now you better parlay what we believe to be momentum into reality, because if you don't, even the people who are willing to stick this far down the road with Adam Fuller, I think are going to leave. They're going to leave his side. Would you agree that that's fair?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I think that this is interesting because we've preached continuity. We've preached patience, understanding that Florida State cannot continue to have to start at square one over and over and over again. And every time you blow it up, you're starting all over again. You lose your recruiting class when you fire coaches. You lose a lot. And then you got to start with a new message, and another guy comes in and he's got to put his hands on the program. And it's we can't keep doing this. But that does not mean that Florida State, from this game on, it doesn't mean that Mike Norvell isn't evaluating the staff very closely. And I think there are some guys coaching for their jobs. I believe that. I believe that there's a distinct possibility 2 or 3 guys get replaced if this continues.
Not on Monday, you're saying?
Of course not. It's stupid to fire people in the middle of the year unless there's some sort of outrageous act being perpetrated by a coach.
Like a quit.
Yeah.
From the team too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, well, what happened at UConn where the team just stopped listening to their coach.
Right.
And it was seen on the sideline while he was talking to them. They're like, get the hell away from me. Like that can't happen. But short of that, you're not going to fire people in season. Doesn't do you any good. And I hope that doesn't happen. I'm tired of having to start over. Adam Fuller knows defense. But that's not all there is to being a good coach. Merely having the knowledge is a basic requirement. Sure, he has the acumen for the game. But being able to implement it, teach it, and have kids execute it, that's the job of the coach. So if there is a massive disconnect for whatever reason, and I don't really care. It's not my job to care what the reason is. If there's a massive disconnect and those kids aren't understanding what they're being asked to do, and they're not routinely put in a position to succeed, or they screw it up, whatever it might be, then you're going to have to make a change, period. So, yes, at some point, you got to carry over successes from one week to the next. You know, the offensive stuff that we talk about all the time, Tom, a lot of that, I'm not worried about Dillingham. I think he's a little immature, but I'm not worried about his acumen for the game. And after all, Mike at any point could just take over that play calling and do all those things anyhow. And he often does, and that's fine. So I'm not worried there. A lot of their deficiencies, a lot of their ineptitudes are born directly out of not having playmakers in an offense that's designed for playmakers. They don't have any. They got 2 at running back, but again, they're contingent on a group up front that just can't block, and you don't have quarterback play right now. And I get why you took the chance that you did. You needed to go out and bring in McKenzie Milton if he would come, because the thought being that if he's back close to being 100%, we've seen him play well in big games against good competition. And he was going to be better as a passer if he's healthy, we thought, than anybody you had on your roster. Problem is he's not healthy, and that hasn't worked. But I get why you took the risk. And Jordan didn't take the step we thought he was going to take. Practice turned out to be just that. It was like being a really good player on the range. Trying to carry it out onto the golf course is very different than hitting balls on the range. And Jordan Travis got into a game and couldn't throw it. I mean, just wasn't real good at throwing the ball.
I remember that's the one thing when we were at Libations Fest and saying hello to our listeners and Warchant subscribers. When I was talking about Jordan, the thing I'd always say at the end of the conversation was, now, if he can do what he's shown in camp, you're going to see a completely different player. But there was always if he can bring that to the field,
right,
when the jersey's no longer green and you're live, that's the important thing. But yes.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I mean, they are held back by some of the personnel deficiencies on offense. The defense, you can say that about the linebackers, but really nowhere else. I mean, they've got good players, athletes in that secondary, and they've got real good players up front in that front four. So, and they have a pass rush.
They've got some athletes in the secondary. There might be a good player or two, but
I'm saying they've got real good athletes in that secondary.
Yeah, athletes, yes, but players, that's where the development comes in, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think they've got good players back there. They're not always making good plays. They're not playing well. That directly points to the coach, right? I mean, we get angry about that. I think they got players back there.
So we talked a bunch about it earlier on. That's why I'm not going to harp on it for too long. But that Sean Tucker is the Syracuse offense. They have other running backs, but they really focused on him and him alone in the Liberty game. So instead of that being the key of stopping him, which we talked about,
that is the biggest key.
But a different one is that Mike Norvell needs to stay on the headset, because if we have a couple of good plays in a row, Mike, listen to the third down call. Let's make sure it makes sense. Mike, at the end of halves, let's listen to the calls. It comes in from the defensive coordinator to the defense.
You don't want the kid with one working foot to try to give it a go on 4th and 2?
Well, I'm talking about the defense, 3rd and 17.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking.
No, I'm saying micromanage the other side.
Yeah.
If Fuller, he doesn't like you a little bit after the game is over because, God, give me a second to breathe. Nope. You haven't earned that. So, Mike, keep on the defensive channel when we're on the field. Keep the mic hot in case you need to say something like, no. No,
we're not doing that.
Something else.
Well,
just be alert, because you can't. That's the one thing I think unequivocally we can agree on about Coach Fuller so far is just in case. You might want to hedge your bets here and be alert in case you got to change a call. Use a timeout, whatever it is.
Really quickly, God Rama.
Name?
Yeah. Hey, man, y'all convinced Travis Hunter to sit out the rest of the season. He got banged up last night. Yeah, we broached this subject in the first hour, and we did say, that's right, that's all. We know you can play. We don't need you out there playing anymore. Yeah. And, I'll point this out on the chat here. Greg writes, I think something besides football is going on with Travis J that's affecting his play on the field. I would echo that. I think that's true. Yeah. I think that's accurate. All I'll say about that situation is I'm rooting for that kid. That's all I'll say.
Damn. Okay.
So it's just been a tough go for him. And I wonder, because that is a really good athlete, period. Yeah. He is an unbelievable athlete.
Yeah, make him feel better?
Wide receiver.
That's right.
I agree.
Or they snap the ball to him.
I know. I'm serious about that. I've been serious about that since
snap the ball to him, let him throw it up and run underneath it. Let's go.
Yeah, to me, honestly, again, let's over and over again say every week on this show and others, let's go ahead and get him the ball on the offensive side. I really believe you could do that. He's not playing well enough for you at corner.
That's correct.
For whatever reason.
100% correct.
So I'd love to see it. He's a real good.
You got to turn him into something. It's something like if by the end of this season, let's just say you want to play the long game. If by the end of this season, he's not making plays in the secondary that are commensurate to his athletic ability. We did the same thing with Carlos.
Well, I was just about to say Carlos Williams was all over the place.
Safety,
linebacker, running back.
He went to the NFL as a running back, and he was one of the most explosive backs before there were problems that he took himself out of the league.
Yeah,
it wasn't a lack of ability.
Out of the league is what he did. Yeah.
But remember, for Buffalo, he was like a 35-yard touchdown a week.
Carlos was arguably one of the 5 best athletes that have ever come through Florida State. That's how freakish.
That's a statement.
That's how freakish he was.
Because Randy Moss came through these hallways.
Well, for about an hour.
Yeah.
Go look at
fun
that
hour for Randy.
Go watch him again on that kick return.
Oh, which one? Miami?
Or yes, you can look at that one or the national championship.
The national championship.
Man,
yeah.
Nobody that big should ever run that fast.
Yeah.
That is unreal.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't really look like he's trying very hard.
No, he's just happy.
He's just happy running.
We're going to score. I'm going to catch Kermit.
I'm going to catch Kermit, and I'm 250 pounds.
Oh, it feels.
It's just insane. It's unreal. Tallahassee Game Day continues in a moment.
It's pool season, and the huge pool at Killorn Country Club. Imagine a salad made with only the freshest vegetables, with grilled or hand-breaded chicken, and topped with Southwest Ranch dressing. Big enough to fill you up without weighing you down. Made to order, when you order, in that order. Try our new Southwest salad with fire-roasted corn, tomatoes, and crispy tortilla strips. Just one of our made-to-order salads. Only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
Hey man, have you heard the sound? The Talford Jewelry's the best in town. The rings, diamonds, earrings, bracelets, and more. Then Talford Jewelry Store.
It's wedding season in Tallahassee, and also that means that it's anniversary season in Tallahassee. This is the time of year where you look back on your wedding. You bought anything nice for your wife recently? I mean, that was the greatest day of y'all's life. Why not celebrate it all over again by heading to my good friends at Pentalpha Jewelry on Appalachia Parkway, in the same place they've always been. Love is in the air, and Pentalpha can help make that love last. Now sing along with me, and I'll see you at Pentalpha.
Pentalpha Jewelry, Pentalpha Jewelry, Pentalpha Jewelry, all the real nice guys. I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
I called Tallahassee Car Care, and they're fixing my car when I want to.
Hey, what are you doing? This is a Swain Pools and Spas commercial.
I'm turning it into a Tallahassee Car Care commercial.
But Swain Pools and Spas is a full-service shop offering sales, renovation, supplies, and more for years.
And Tallahassee Car Care is a full-service shop offering brake and tire service, batteries, oil changes, and more for years.
But people go to Swain Pools for quality and reliability. Nobody knows more about pools and spas, and Swain has new Caldera spas in stock right now.
And people go to Tallahassee Car Care for their 5-star service at great prices, with most maintenance done by their certified technicians while you wait.
You know what? Just look for the big Swain sign on West Tharp Street, because Swain Pools and Tallahassee Car Care are under the same roof. Online at SwainPools.com.
Online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Swain Pools and Spas.
Our friends at Triangle Sales bring you an opportunity to enjoy a one-of-a-kind experience presented by Bud Light. It's the Bud Light Sideline Experience Contest. If you're a Nolan Tallahassee, text Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. That's Bud Light Fan to 31996. If you're the lucky winner, you score 2 sideline passes, hospitality passes, and fan gear for the FSU and Miami game on November 13th. That's Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. Must be 21 or older to enter. Please enjoy Bud Light responsibly. A message from local Anheuser-Busch distributor, Triangle Sales.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Today's game predictions are brought to you by Lane's Medical Shop, with locations in Colquitt and Donaldsonville. Lane's Medical Shop offers all your medical supply needs. They even have delivery and emergency services available. Lane's Medical Shop, 229-758-9111. Tell them Jeff Cameron and Warchant.com sent you for a half-off discount. Thank you, Lanes. Well, what do you think? 27-24 sounded good earlier in the week to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 27-21. I'm going to change it. I reserve the right.
So then the race is to 22, is what you're saying. 22 points is good enough to get the job done.
Seems so low in a
does.
modern game of football, man, with everything being geared towards offenses. It's hard to imagine that will be the number. But I mean, again, I don't think these two teams throw it very well. I think they both want to run it. They'll shorten the game that way. And I think both defenses will have their fair share of success stopping the run.
Okay, so the two most likely outcomes are close win, Florida State, close win, Syracuse, in no particular order. Right? Who is more likely to win by multiple scores in this game? Who has the better chance to do that, us or Syracuse?
I know this is a cop-out answer. I think it's equal. I really don't see. I know it's a cop-out answer.
The army of chickens are not amused.
I don't really see any. I don't see either one of these teams running away from the other. I really don't. I mean, the scenario you're describing would mean that Florida State comes out again flat on defense, and then that's the death knell, where that's it. They're bereft of hope and they stop fighting. Then that's how blowouts happen. People just, go through the motions. But I just don't see that today. I don't see that at all.
I think if one team is going to win by multiple scores, it's going to be us, believe it or not. And that's not Garnet Gold Glasses talking. I'm just the explosiveness factor. I think Syracuse might get one on us. Everybody does. So I think they might get one. But if you're looking for opportunities to make multiple explosive plays happen, I think this running game is the one that could do that, even with the hurt offensive line. Now, my caveat to that is, let's not try to do perimeter stuff. Syracuse is impressive at getting downhill in their own right. These are mirror image teams in a lot of ways, but
you have to window dress, though, Tom.
I've watched Rutgers and Liberty move Syracuse defensive line 3 and 4 yards beyond the line of scrimmage and surge.
I bet they're both better offensive lines than Florida State's.
How much better?
Oh, probably appreciably.
Rutgers,
yes,
and Liberty.
Rutgers gave Michigan all they could handle last week. Now,
I'm wondering about Michigan, but
but look at us.
I understand.
So I'm just telling you, I think Rutgers' offensive line's better than Florida State's. Yes.
But this is a point that Corey makes. We're routinely getting into the 300s and 400s in terms of total yardage on offense. And that's not all garbage time. That's not all the product of garbage time.
A lot of it is, though. A lot of it is. Not all, but a lot of it is. A lot of it's after a team is up on us big and they go into a bit of a shell. And Florida State's able. And also, by the way, I think teams are willing. They don't want to give up big plays, and they have occasionally. But they're willing to, especially with a big lead, let you go up and down the field between the 20s because we stink in the red zone.
Right. Yeah. That's a problem. Need to get better in the red zone. Jalen's prediction is 17-12 Noles win. Ugly game, uglier score. That feels so appropriate.
I like it. I'll take it. I mean, that's
a touchdown, a field goal, and a safety for Syracuse, by the way.
Let's go. I'll take that score. I'll take that game. I'll take that win. I'll get the hell out of Dodge and smile and rest easy with a W.
Our pal Ryan says 24-13 Qs. Oh, dear God. You know why that would stink? It's because that means the defense played all right.
Yeah.
And so you're going to be stuck in limbo with the defense take. And then we're going to have to think about how bad the offense is for a week before we travel up to Chapel Hill, if that's what actually came to pass.
Well, one of the reasons Ryan is talking about Syracuse winning the game. By the way, Adrian Martinez could start for FSU at quarterback. Yes, that's how bad it is. He's actually.
They bounced back, didn't they?
Well, they lost last week in a game they should have won, but he had a big bounce back for about 4 weeks in a row. I was stunned. After watching that game against Illinois, I swore him off for life. But he's actually played pretty well for them. But one of the reasons I'm getting back to this that Ryan was citing that he had 24-13 Qs winning, it is an area of concern for me. He was talking about the pass rush getting to Milton. I am worried about that. That's why really the emphasis on the run game and winning first down is really important.
Well, it's about the pass rush and how many bodies are committed because they can just rush 3. And if that gets home, which it might.
Well, then you can't.
But you're happy if, of course. Yeah, but you said throughout the week that you're happy if Q's brings pressures because it speeds
them up.
Yes. McKenzie with a sped up internal clock is quite good.
Yeah, he actually is because he knows pre-snap where he wants to go based on the look that he sees. And if he is able to diagnose pressure. Now, listen, he had a couple problems last week holding on to the ball too long and in the wake of some of those rushes, which really pissed me off. But there is a stretch there where he's operating very efficiently on time. As I always say, throw from whence they came. He did a lot of that for a stretch of about, 2 or 3 series there where the offense got moving, throwing the ball. And it wasn't just like hot route stuff. I mean, he knew where to go. I was very impressed in those moments. He hasn't been able to sustain anything, no real high level of play. He doesn't have a good arm either. So if you're gonna bring pressure and he can get the ball out of his hands on time, in rhythm, intermediate to short routes, he can do that. That's what he can do.
All right, we'll go to a larger point for predictions. It's not just about this game. if you had to, now I'm not advising anybody to do this, but if you had to bet the mortgage and the college fund on a result today, on a result,
game?
Nope.
Oh, any game.
Any game.
I don't know that I have one this week that I feel that great about, Tom. I've got games that I'm picking because that's what I do, but I don't.
Nothing is so there could be chaos today because if something in the air, man. Not that like Arkansas is going to beat Georgia outright or anything like that, but I mean, you look at what's the Ole Miss Alabama game that could get dicey for Alabama.
It could. That could get dicey for Alabama, and it's a fun
Kentucky, Florida could get dicey for Florida.
We'll see. I doubt it. Kentucky's defense hasn't been great. I don't see that defense holding up against Florida's rushing attack. Yeah, I don't see that.
You like that game 3 weeks ago more than you do now?
I've really paid attention to Kentucky because I do like that they throw the ball down the field now. You can win overs with Kentucky. I've been winning overs with Kentucky, but I don't love them defensively. This is a bad year for them to not be great defensively because they do some other things well finally on offense.
Yeah.
Ole Miss Alabama is a fun game. I really love that game.
That totals at 80 points. Do you think it goes over?
Well, it cruised over last year. I know that. It was crazy.
10.
It's always hard to bet any game like that with a number that high. I'm not. But the noon game, by the way, as we get ready to sign off here, Arkansas, Georgia is the noon game. I'm very eager to watch that game. I think Arkansas wins it, but I'm also eager to watch it, and I got to see Cincinnati at 2:30 against Notre Dame. I'd like to see that game because I do think they instantly go in there able to shut down an entire aspect of Notre Dame's offense because Notre Dame can't run the ball. And it's interesting. Cincinnati plays really good run defense, so they come in basically one-handed.
Well, Notre Dame might
be able to win that game.
They've got, I forget the kid's name, but they've got a running quarterback as well. That might be a day for him rather than Cone.
Yeah, maybe. The third string quarterback is the kid that came in last week, Kine or whatever his name was.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he came in. He's 5'11". What are we doing?
That's not the kid. Maybe the running quarterback's hurt. But I remember they used him against Akron. The thing about Notre Dame is they've got all, wake up the echoes and all that stuff. But teams go into that building and play them tough a lot.
All the time.
No-name teams. So like today, Cincinnati, of course, is a top 10 program.
They're predicted to win.
Akron can go in there, and give them a run. Or Navy routinely goes in there and give them a run for their money. You see it all the time. So that place is not as fearsome as it's been over the generations. So that could be a score that maybe in the second quarter, third quarter, you go, oh my God, Cincinnati came for blood today. I wouldn't be shocked by that.
I think talk about a game that people are not going to want to watch, but maybe I will because I'm, I guess, a masochist. Michigan at Wisconsin. I'm going to watch.
My God.
I know.
You are a masochist.
I'm going to watch it.
On that note, goodbye, YouTubers. Goodbye.
Bye,